with the recent news about Cyberpunk and how their developers have mandatory crunch, I thought it'd be a good video to talk about, you know, not so much about Cyberpunk's developers, CD Projekt Red, which that's a whole nother topic, but just the idea of, you know, how people tend to become very attached to brands or things that they're invested in, which it's not hard to see, but I think Kuba and I just want to give some advice or just our experiences of why you shouldn't do that, or just be keep a distance for these things, because as much as I was attached to a bunch of gaming brands like Blizzard and things like that, CD Projekt Red, because they made games that I enjoyed over the years, I've tried not to become emotionally or just personally like attached to it, because it's no point to doing that since you're just a consumer. Like, you enjoy their product, that's great. They're trying to make products that you enjoy, but I just view it as that. I'm not trying to view it as, you know, it's a brand that I need to, fight over Twitter on, or, just getting into random fights with people about, why this game is the best or whatever. Like, that doesn't interest me. But what do you think, Kuma, about, brands becoming personally too attached to it or anything like that, just from experiences in your life?
So the first thing that came to my mind would be um, Square Enix or SquareSoft as a brand. Cause like when I first was introduced to Final Fantasy games, I consumed it like crazy. It was great. It was wonderful. And each game was incredible. It was barely any flaws that I see in them. And I thought, okay, the next game will be awesome. I'm gonna buy it day one, full price, all that good stuff. And then fucking Final Fantasy 15. I bought that shit day one. It was disappointing. It didn't measure up like the quality wise as the games in the past. Like it fell through a lot. And all these fucking DLCs and stuff just to complete the game. So like after that lesson, I would never ever really buy and commit to a game from a favorite publisher or developer. You never know what you're gonna get, what kind of dud they're gonna throw out. Can't really trust future products. Trust history because you never know they might drop the ball.
Yeah, I remember thinking quickly about Final Fantasy 15. I remember I was pretty excited for it, just because I was attached to not Square Enix, but Squaresoft, because when I first played Final Fantasy, I think it was Final Fantasy 7 maybe. Then I started to get into, like, for months after, I started just playing all the other Final Fantasy games, like the older ones. I was playing like Final Fantasy 7, Final Fantasy 9, Final Fantasy 8, 6, 4, like 3, all those. So yeah, I could see where you came from. And yeah, I was also disappointed by 15, because I remember being pretty annoyed that they broke up the story into the anime and into, like, comic books, whatever. He's just like breaking into other media that I would have to watch just to learn more about the story. But the game itself was pretty disappointing, because I couldn't get all that, lore and character information from that game. I'd have to go out of my way to consume other media for it. But yeah, that just brings me into wonder, do you have to, like, have a harsh reminder like that to just wake up and not become, like, so gung ho or attached to brands?
I think so. I think every individual will experience that in their lifetime. Like they will pick up a product they really excited about because they put their faith and trust into a company, and they're gonna be massively disappointed and feel cheated, and that will awaken their mind and eyes. Like, okay, I can't be buying day ones. I can't be submitting like advanced payments to these companies. They have to put out a good product a complete product, and they will get paid when when they get paid. No future advance payments, none of that stuff.
Just wonder. So that means you shouldn't just get too hyped up.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, yeah. Like going back to the hype system, like the hype game. These companies are very good at marketing, and they know what people are wanting. Like they know what they want. They like hire these psychologists and marketing team just to like put out all these like videos on online for people to get real, excited about, just to get their money.
I remember there was a conference for mobile games, and it was basically how to exploit whales for money.
Whales.
Whales are people that spend enormous amounts of money on microtransactions.
Oh
So
God.
they're the ones that spend thousands and thousands of dollars on, like, say if it's like a gotcha game, they'll spend it
Okay.
on polls for new characters and such. So yeah, they do invest a lot into the psychology of, what would get people to spend more money, or become, have that sunk cost fallacy of, okay, now I have all these, like, high high tier characters or whatever, that I'm on the top of the game, like, I'm going to be doing really well in it. Now they have to, try to get people to stay committed to it, so they keep putting money into it.
Okay. All right. That makes sense. And like a lot of these brand nowadays adopting these like gotcha system or microtransaction into their games. Uh, yeah, and I think a good example would be from Square Enix at least. It would be what's that game called with the futuristic first person shooter? Uh, called
Was it recent?
no, a few years ago, probably like 5 years ago.
It was a shooter.
Yeah, first person RPG shooter. Dead X, something like that.
I don't know. I never heard of that one.
No, I'm sure you're familiar with this game.
But yeah, there's all these brands that try to, get people invested. And is it a bad thing to want to get invested in brands or games?
I feel like there's nothing wrong with it, but just know that deep inside these companies is after money. They don't care about you. They care about your money, and that's what they're gonna work so hard to get. You know, just gotta keep that in mind.
First and foremost, it's a business. They're here there to make money. They're trying to, make a profit off, you know, whatever work or effort they spent the last few years making this product for consumers. So they want to make it as enticing and attractive to people to want to get into it, right?
Yeah, yeah. That's why you don't see much games that's really innovative, original, like new IPs. They know what works. They know what makes money. That's why they keep recycling it again and again. That's why we're gonna have Final Fantasy 16 next year, 2021. I was like, what? That's so quick. I don't know, man. I mean, I like the trailer, but I don't from my tragic, PTSD of 15. I think I'm gonna hold back and just wait.
I'm going to wait. I think 15, unfortunately, is like a mirror shattering for me, like, moment where the company that I once was heavily invested, and then I realized how much it changed, and it felt like their interests or priorities was not to make a fun game, but to just sell a product, which is a huge, like, a huge difference in, like, when you, like, think about it. You're just like, oh, here's this product that I really enjoyed. I had a lot of fun in sinking dozens and dozens of hours into, like versus the mindset of, oh, they just want to take my money. There's a huge difference for like compare those two. But yeah, it's actually Final Fantasy 15 is didn't it come out in 2015? So it's about almost
Yeah,
6
about
years.
2015, 2016.
Yeah, it's dangerous, man. When I see these people fight online over, this developer or this company would, is very consumer friendly and everything, but then they still participate in, all these practices that are predatory by nature, like microtransactions and anything like that. Like they keep nickel and diming you, but as long as you get some freebies there, here and there, it's okay. I don't know. It's the state of the industry itself that the problem. Because right now we've done some videos about this, but like live service games or microtransactions, and we're still in the thick of it. Still got Fortnite, you still got Division, you still got Destiny, all that stuff. And there's still gonna be more live service games. There's another, live service game from Ubisoft coming out. There's probably gonna be a Division 3 coming out. There's still Anthem that we haven't heard about. There's Avengers that is still going on. All these things that is just preying on people's attachment to the brand, like with Marvel's Avengers,
Yeah, that's a big one.
because that's superheroes, and people are very attached to it. I'm attached to superheroes. I grew up reading comic books, Spider-Man, Batman, that kind of stuff. So I'm the perfect audience for this. Like I'm the perfect person to go after because I'm so attached to the character brands they have made.
Yeah, didn't you pay full price for the game?
Yeah.
And you bought it basically
Well, I bought it on
almost
sale.
day one, right?
I basically bought it day one, but I didn't buy that whole practice of if you pre-order the more expensive version, you get early access of it for like 3 days before it actually releases, which is like another $20 to play basically like 3 days in advance.
Yeah, that's real messed up. I remember Division 2 also implement that practice when they first released it.
They did. So did Anthem. Except Anthem had a complicated chart of when people could play if you do the Origin Premiere and all that. It
Yeah.
was a mess.
Well, speaking of Anthem, I'll say that branding also applied because it was, that very popular, really famous developer team that was
BioWare.
creating. Yeah, so everyone had high expectation, thought this game will be awesome,
You have
the
an
all these
awesome story
writers,
and characters you can get attached
and
to.
then
And
and then
yeah,
it
they
flopped.
they marketed that too. They even said like that kind of stuff where it's just, hey, we've made all these, critically acclaimed RPGs like Dragon Age, Mass Effect, Knights of the Old Republic, that kind of stuff. So they fed into it, and people people got hyped up for it. And look where that went.
Yeah,
I feel
no.
like that was
And now they're
another
talking about
kind of Final Fantasy moment, like 15 moment, where it's just like this this company isn't the same as they once were. Like BioWare
yeah,
is not the same as they used to be, you know?
yeah, definitely. That's so true.
I just wish we didn't have to have these like hard reminders of companies, you know, not being the same, or just, their first priority is to make a profit, to stay afloat because they are a business. It's like it's not even inherently their fault, but it's just the state of, you know, how economics go.
I don't know. I had to disagree with you on that part. Probably because it's how and where they putting the money. So remember Activision? or Blizzard, they got a new CEO, right? He got a big fucking bonus before he even started working. They had to lay off all these workers just to pay that guy a bonus. You see what I'm saying? I
Yeah,
don't think it's about economics. It's about priority. What are they doing? Where are they putting the money at? What are they using it for?
yeah. I guess you could probably be right.
They got to change their practice within these companies. CEOs should not be getting these bonuses. It's not required. They're not making the game themselves. It's just they making big decision about the games, and mostly it's going to reflect poorly on the games. I feel like these CEOs they have to be at least from the bottom, like start from the bottom. Like they know these develop, they know how to develop games. They know the the stuff that makes these games a good game. They should be in charge of running companies, making decisions, not these people financially, doing these budgets and stuff.
Yeah, I agree. It's it's just easy to see like what like when that kind of situation happens, you see what the reasoning was like for that particular instance when they hired that you know higher up executive. It was to probably try to make more money like in the long run, and they viewed their developers as expendable if they just let them go like that in a massive amount. I believe it was around 800 people, 800 employees. But yeah, it's the whole problem with those things. But yeah, it's just brands. It's not something new that this has been like. This has always been happening. You always have to be wary of brands, and hopefully sooner or later, you know, a person will realize not to get too attached to these brands that they, you know, have been invested in, and just have one good reminder of, hey, this company or this brand, they're just here to make a product I like. But don't try not to take it further than that. Have anything else to say about this?
Well, I say these games in the future that people should be looking out for and be careful of will be the next Diablo game, the next Elder Scroll game, the next what? What other game that Bethesda releasing with
Doom?
dealing with space?
Oh, Starbound?
Starfield? Hmm?
Starfields.
Yeah,
Starfield.
Starfield. Be careful of that game. Be careful of Final Fantasy 16.
It's basically gonna be careful of all the big AAA games, like the sequels. And then be careful of Dragon Age 4.
Yeah, that too.
Be careful of Cyberpunk, I'm gonna
Oh
say.
yeah. Okay.
Because look, that game looks pretty good, but it's really ambitious, and you know that could be another video. Like, I could talk about that future of that company and everything. But yeah, it's all these sequels and such. They're riding on people's attachment to the brand. Previous Elder Scrolls games, previous Blizzard games, all that stuff. They have a pedigree of excellent games in the past. Whether or not they can actually deliver and make at least a decent product that you'll enjoy is another story. Is if are they just going to rely on their brand? Are they just going to rely on the popularity they once had? We're only going to find out if the next Final Fantasy game or the next From Software game is going to hold up. Or is it going to change our perception of those companies so that we're going to have another situation of Final Fantasy 15 for us or Anthem for BioWare? Are we just gonna have the mirror shatter, the illusion broken? We finally realize these companies don't always have our interests in when they make these games. Something we'll find out.